Beep beep! Hi you guys, it's Rhea and I'm back again today doing another astrology video. And today I'm going to do the sign of Sagittarius! Yay! I love this sign. I love Sagittarius. I basically love all the fire signs. It might be because I'm a Libra, but I just have a special place in my heart for all the fire signs out there. So if you're a fire sign at all, just know that my heart goes out to you guys. But alright, today we're going to be doing the sign of Sagittarius. Now before I go into that, let's see, the two questions that you always have to ask is, well, what is sun? Sun is your soul. Your soul's overall goal in this life, your soul's mission, your willpower, how much effort you'll put into something, the effort that you have in you. It represents a part of your personality. Because like I said in my past videos, sun isn't your complete personality. Your entire personality is shown by your sun sign, your moon sign, and your ascendant sign. Sun is also the relationship with your father, how your father treated you, how your actual father was. It represents government, how you respond to the government, how you respond to being told what to do, things like that. Now, what is Sagittarius? Sagittarius is the sign of luck, the sign of travel, the sign of religion, religious teaching, being religious places like churches, ashrams, monasteries, things like that. Sagittarius is the sign of the upper realms, how you perceive the upper realms, your tutors, your teachers, your guides. Now, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, the planet Jupiter, just like Pisces is. So it has a bit of that Piscean energy, but not in the same way. Pisces is, I know you're wondering why am I going into Pisces. This is important, trust me, it is. Pisces is the feminine side of Jupiter, the gentle, more understanding, more open side of Jupiter, while Sagittarius is the more closed-minded, more masculine sign of Jupiter, and it's shown in this sign. Because there are a lot of things that can come out of this when you have your sun in Sagittarius. One, a very lucky, very hipster-ish person who's into travel and talking about how sophisticated they are and how they like, the fancier side of life and how, this coffee's aroma is so beautiful and, I type on my laptop for hours a day. That kind of person can come out of this. Or you can get a really strict religious person from this. Someone who isn't, spiritual of course, you have to be spiritual if you're religious, but religious. You can also get a person who's fun-loving, doesn't give a crap about really anything, just wants to enjoy their life and have fun and be themselves, and you can also get a preacher out of this. Now I have to say, no matter what kind of Sagittarius you are, you like to preach people. You may say, oh no, I'm not a preacher, I never tell people what to do. But yes, you do. Because Sagittarius loves to preach. That's Sagittarius' job. That's Jupiter's job. Jupiter is the planet of the guide, so Jupiter is the sign of the guide. And since it's a religious, strict guide, it likes to tell people what to do. And Sagittariuses really do love telling people what to do. Because a lot of Sagittariuses have this sort of overinflated ego to some sense. Now it's a fire sign, so of course it's going to have this ego and this vanity about itself. But Sagittarius has this ego in a sense of not that it's, the best thing in the world, but that its teachings are the best thing in the world. Because Sagittarius likes to think that it knows everything and has all the wisdom in the world on its shoulders, and it wants to share it with everyone. Now, Pisces wants to share it in a sense that it just wants everyone to know what it knows. But Sagittarius wants to share it in a sense that it wants everyone to know that it knows everything. Oh God, I really love this sign. So what you'll see from these people, they'll talk a lot, and by a lot I mean a lot. They will talk your ear off, and most of the time what they're talking about is themselves. All the accomplishments they've achieved, all the things that they've done in their life, all the places that they've gone, all the places that they traveled, because if you're a Sagittarius, you traveled. Even if you haven't been out of the country, you've been all over your country. And even if you haven't been all over your country, you've been all over your city, your town, or your state, your province, wherever you live. You've been all over your area. You know it by heart because you don't stay in one place. Sagittarius isn't meant to stay in one place, and they don't. And now back to what I was saying. They like to preach. They like to tell you about why they're the best teacher you could ever have. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, because they will teach you things, and they really do want you to learn. They really do want you to understand where they're coming from and what they're saying. So don't think that Sagittariuses are bad people. No, they're Jupiterian. They want you to know what they know. They want you to understand the world as they do. Now, Sagittarius is maybe more strict and more religious, but they're still teachers. Now, that was the religious preaching side of Sagittarius. What can also come out of this is a fun-loving, happy-go-lucky, I don't give a crap kind of person. And I love these kinds of Sagittariuses. This is the kind of Sagittarius I see the most. The people who just want to have fun and enjoy their life. You know, Jupiter is the wild child, the child that wants to enjoy itself, wants to have fun, doesn't care about anything, doesn't want to have the weight of the world on its shoulders, and it doesn't. And a lot of Sagittariuses are this way. They love jokes, they love joking around, they love having fun, they love to laugh. Sagittariuses have one of the best laughs. If you ever hear a Sagittarius laugh, you will have to laugh with them. You don't know why. I mean, you might not even know what they're talking about. They're just laughing, and you just have to laugh with them. They're just so jolly, so happy about life, so content with themselves. It's really inspiring to see a lot of the times, because, I mean, it's rare to find a Sagittarius who's unhappy with themselves. I mean, you may find a Sagittarius, because all Sagittarius is, like I said, Jupiter is there, and Jupiter's the teacher, so Jupiter will show you, everything that's wrong, so they understand their flaws. They do. They truly do know their flaws. But it doesn't make them unhappy. You'll hear, Sagittarius is the kind of person you hear talk about their weight all day long, about how, I should probably get off the couch, I should probably lose weight, but then again, I like food, so that's not going to happen. And they're not going to say it in a miserable, sad way. They're going to say it in a sense that, I don't care. I'm good. I don't need to lose weight. Well, I mean, I do, but I don't want to lose it. Who cares? I like myself, and I love that about them. They like themselves. They have this, even the young Sagittariuses have this sort of I'm enlightened sense about them, and it's really inspiring. Now, the last Sagittarius that can come out of this is the, I'm fancy kind of Sagittarius. And this is the kind of Sagittarius that'll also love to preach. But not the kind of preach where they want you to understand where they're coming from, just the kind of preach that they like to talk about themselves. All Sagittariuses like to talk about themselves. All Sagittariuses have this pride about them that can be inspiring, like I said before, but can also be really annoying at times. Because since they're so happy with themselves, and since they're so, I have flaws, but who cares? Everyone has flaws. They're kind of ignorant. I'm not ignorant, arrogant, by mistake. They're kind of arrogant. Well, they can be ignorant to a lot of things too, but they're arrogant. Very arrogant. They can be jerks sometimes. Really, they can be really jerky sometimes because they're so blunt with their speech. They think that since they know all of this, since they have all this Jupiterian wisdom, they think that they can say whatever they want and not have to worry about the consequences. Because, hey, I'm not a Sagittarius. I know everything, and you don't know anything, so who cares? And the thing is that a lot of times, they get away with this because Jupiter's there, and Jupiter is a very, very lucky planet. It's the planet of pure and complete optimism and luck, and they have the most luck in the world. I mean, they are the luckiest people you could ever meet. They could tell their boss off, like they could be really angry at their boss and walk up to their boss and just tell them off, tell them everything that they've ever done wrong, just call them a bunch of names, call them out all blunt and angry, and they're the kind of people who are so lucky that their boss would probably just shrug their shoulders and go, you know, you're right. You're right, I am. I should be nicer to you, Sagittarius. And it's like, how? How? You don't understand it sometimes. It really racks your brain. Like, if I were to do that, I would have been fired on the spot. But no, they can basically get away with a lot of things because Jupiter's in their main sign, and Jupiter just gives them all the luck in the universe. Man, you Sagittariuses, all you Sagittariuses out there, you have to show us how you do it with your luck, because, man, a lot of us can use it. But Sagittarius is a really good sign. What else can I say about Sagittarius? Well, what else can I say about Sagittarius? I really love this sign. I was talking about how I wanted to talk all about this sign, and now I'm wondering, what else can I say about them? Well, I'll move on from that for now. Well, like I said, Sun represents your father. And with Sun and Sagittarius, your father could be, well, there's a lot of things your father could be. Your father could be, one, a teacher, someone who liked to teach you things, and like I said in the last video, in Pisces, the father would be a teacher in a sense of, I want to show you the world and show you how to be happy with yourself. And this is the same with Sagittarius, where your father wanted to show you the world and show you how to be happy with yourself. But not in the same way as Pisces, and your father could have been really harsh or blunt with this, like, you know, who cares what other people say? You need to believe in yourself, because that's just how things work. And if you aren't happy with yourself, then your whole life will be horrible. You know, it wasn't a very gentle, loving sort of thing. I mean, your father could be really happy-go-lucky, a really happy, easygoing guy who doesn't often get angry, but when it comes to teaching you life lessons, it went like hardcore. Your dad was like, no, you have to learn this because that's how things are. And your dad used to do that a lot, like a lot. Your dad wanted to show you everything that he knew, and he would show you it in a very harsh kind of manner. Not abusive or mean, but in a sense of, you know, this is life. You don't like it, too bad, because that's how life is, sort of way. Now, your father could have also been a little angry. Could have had like little bouts of anger. You yourself could have had little bouts of anger, but I'll get into that when I go into the different types of Sagittarius. But he could have had little bouts of anger, where all of a sudden he was calm, and then he got frustrated because you didn't want to learn something the way he wanted to teach you, or you didn't want to learn something, you didn't want to learn anything at all. You're a little too lazy, and your dad really got angry. But he could have been a really lucky guy, and really nice in general. Like I don't know if I'm painting Sagittarius in a bad light here, but Sagittarius is really nice. They're very, very nice people. They'll talk to anyone, and I mean anyone, and they'll talk a lot. They don't care what walk of life you come from. They don't care how much richer they are than you, how higher their title is. They're very nice. They'll talk to anyone, and they'll talk to you like a person, like you're on the same level as them. Because Sagittariuses are genuinely nice people. Jupiter is not a mean planet. No matter how harsh Jupiter can be, Jupiter is not mean, and Jupiter would not allow a person with Jupiterian energy to be mean. And Sagittariuses, for the most part, are really nice. They're just very blunt and arrogant. So yeah, back to the father. The father could have been a really, really nice guy. Had tons and tons of friends. People just liked him for some reason, and you just liked him. No one exactly knows why they like him, but they just do. And he made people laugh. He loves spending time with the family. Overall, your father could have been a really, really nice guy. Just a little blunt with his speech sometimes. And Sagittarius, Sun also represents government and how you take orders. You could have really not liked taking orders. You really didn't like taking orders, especially when people had an elevated sense to them. When they talked as if they were over you, it really pissed you off because you're Sagittarius. Who could be over you? You know everything because Jupiter knows everything. So how dare they think that they know more than me? You might have been a person who didn't listen very much as a child. They would tell you to do this, and you'd blatantly do the other thing because no one knows more than you. You're Sagittarius. You might have thought people were idiots sometimes, but you would have never said that to them. I mean, you might have said that to them because you're a Sagittarius. But you would have said it in the very nicest way possible. So, yeah, you and taking orders, not a good combination. You didn't really like taking orders. You could have also thought that you were the one that needed to give orders because you could have thought that, I'm a teacher. I can teach whoever I want. But now let's get into the types of Sagittarius. Now, as I said before, there are 30 degrees for each sign, and within that degrees are little sections that create, with different influences, that can create a different personality out of someone. Now, plain Sagittarius is, like I said, the teacher, the preacher, the one who's all about travel and going places, and I know everything, and I'm arrogant sometimes, but I'm really nice and really lucky. The second one would have an Aries influence. This would make you a more angry person. A more angry, arrogant, and vain person. Like I said, you're not a mean person, you're not a bad person, but you could have been really, really arrogant, and you could have had a lot of bouts of random anger, especially when you were trying to teach someone something and they just didn't want to listen, or they weren't learning fast enough, or they just didn't get what you were saying. You could have been really frustrated, really angry, really, how could they do this? How I'm the best teacher in the world. How do they not understand what I'm talking about? Excuse you? And you could have gotten really angry, really, really angry. Well, not really, really angry, but not in the sense of uncontrollable, crazy anger, but in this kind of frustrated, why sort of sense. That's what the Aries influence does. There's also the last one would be the Leo influence. That could have made you a more arrogant person, more vain. But even though you're more arrogant and more vain, you're also the more relaxed Sagittarius. Out of all the Sagittarius there is, you're the most relaxed one. Yeah, you think you're better than everybody, and yeah, you think you're the best looking thing in the world, but you're not going to be mean to anyone. And you watch your speech. Out of all the Sagittarius, you have the less blunt speech there is, because you like peace, you like harmony. No matter how much better someone is than someone else, you want everyone to feel like they're on the same playing field, they're on the same level. We all need to just laugh and joke and have fun with each other because, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow you may die. That's your philosophy with the Leo influence. You just love people. You love people, you love talking to people, you love laughing, you love being around people, you love joking around, you love having fun, and you're just plain old happy with yourself. You're happy with everything. You're happy with life. You're just a happy person with this last influence. And, well, that's basically all I have to say about Sagittarius. Now, guys, I'm going to definitely make a What is Sun video. Well, I mean, of course, in every video I'm still going to explain what Sun is, because if you haven't seen the rest of my videos, then you're going to want to know what Sun is. But I'm definitely going to make What does Sun mean in your video. And I'm definitely going to make a What is Sun video. But that's pretty much all I have to say about Sagittarius. I I really like the sign. I do. I love Sagittarius. They're wonderful people. Like I said, they're the kind of people who recognize their flaws. That's one thing that I have to just say to everyone. You may have a Sagittarius that is very blunt and angry and arrogant and doesn't care and thinks they're the best thing in the world, but trust me, they understand their flaws and they understand responsibility. They do. Sagittarius is a very mature sign. No matter how playful and childlike they may seem, they're the opposite of Gemini. Gemini is the playful, arrogant kind in a way because they don't understand. They're the more childish ones who have a more selfish sense about them because they're just childlike. Where Sagittarius is childlike because it understands more about itself and it understands that it is a flawed being and that everyone is a flawed being. Sagittarius just doesn't want that to drag it down. Because Sagittarius, like I said, loves life and wants to be happy. So yes, they get that they're the most arrogant person in the world. And yes, they know how much you don't want to listen to them preach over and over again. But they don't care because it makes them happy. And they're happy with their life as long as they're doing what they love to do. And I think that's a really admirable thing in my... Sagittarius is a really admirable sign. I love Sagittarius. So for all you Sagittariuses out there, high five. High five, guys. And, well, that's all I have to say. So, beep beep. Have a beat-tastic day, guys.